Hi, I'm Mark and this is Foothill Paint Fabrication. Today we're going to finish up the shop, so it'll be part two of the refurbish of the shop. We'll be putting all new LED lights in, painting the walls and the ceiling, doing some work on the compressor and the compressor cabinet, and then moving everything back in. I'm really looking forward to getting this done and getting to the stuff I really like to do instead of painting the walls and putting lights up. So let's jump on this and get it done and move on to some more fun stuff. Okay, here's the new LED lights. I got these on Amazon. I think it was a Cyber Monday deal or something. They're LED. $4,000 lumens. I forget what the 6,000K, so that's almost daylight. As the older I get, the more light I need. I used to be able to work on a car and paint it with like candlelight. Now I need as much light as I can get so I can see what I'm doing. So, so it was 10. I think the unit price each was $11, $12 each when you buy them as a case. So it's a pretty good price. It'll be replacing some T12s, 40 watt T12s, and some 40 watt T8s, I believe. So we're gonna go ahead and get these out, start pulling some of the lights panels down, the glass, and hopefully without dropping it. And then see if we can get some of these up in there fairly easy. And then we're gonna test it and see how it looks, because the T8s are 4 bulb. So I may double these up in some and then leave the T8s and others. I'm not quite sure, so gonna do a couple of tests, put some up, see what kind of light we're gonna get out of them, and then go from there. So hopefully I'll probably move some of the T8s into the T12 areas, and then get these LEDs in there. So let's see if we can't get some of these panels down without dropping them. I got this load jack here. Let's see if it's going to reach. You can hold it up while I take the screws out. We might get lucky here. You gotta get creative when you're working alone. All right. Do this. Keep that within reach. Oh, they're stuck. Oh, I'm gonna have to go get the ladder. Don't fall. He's been on there a while. So they're probably stuck or painted on. All right, get them loose. There's a gasket on all of these, and I think it's stuck. Looks like it wants to come down. All right, try it again. Here to catch one side. It's a little sketchy, but got it done. Didn't drop it. It's dirty. Set it right here so I don't forget where it went. All right. One down, 10 to go. The others came on. It's considerably brighter than the original. Put this up and see comparison here. It's a lot whiter light. It's more like daylight. These are really soft. So this is really what I need right here, is a lot more white light so I can see what I'm doing. I think those are going to work out well. I just have to figure out what configuration I'm going to put them in, how many in each bay. Okay, I think I got a game plan for the lights. I put one in, and although it is extremely bright and a lot whiter than the old fluorescents, I think I'm going to double up fixtures in each box like I did with the fluorescents, just to make sure I have plenty of light. I'd rather have too much light than not enough. I can always shut lights down if I need to. So we're going to work on getting the fixtures attached together, and that'll require making some brackets and screwing these things together. So let's get to that right now. Okay, so what I picked up was some of these Simpson Strong Tie plates. They happen to be exactly the right length, 9 inches. So all we have to do is drill them for these screws that hold this fixture together, and then bolt these together, and it'll make this 2 fixtures into one. Then I can hook the chains on it and hang them up. There's a plug for each one of these, and then they'll be up there, and it'll work out really good. So we're going to need to make a template so we can mark these out. Maybe we can gang drill these so they're goes a lot faster. One hole actually lines up perfectly. Unfortunately, they don't all, which would be awesome if it did, but you know, it never works out that way. So luckily I don't have to make all these, so we're just going to take a piece of boulder and we're going to cut it into a strip to match, and then knock these out and poke some holes. So I have a makeshift bench here since the shop is emptied out and all my stuff is out here in the driveway. So we're just going to have to make do for now. So I'm just going to kind of feel through here, see if we can find the holes. And just punch each one. Maybe I'll slide it over a little bit. Nah, I'm going to keep it right there. So we can use one as an alignment. Hopefully these will all line up. Just going to open these up a little bit. Get a Sharpie through there. I use these file folders a lot because it's just about the right thickness. Holds its shape, but it's not so thick that you can't work with it. So yeah, that should work out good right there. Doesn't have to be perfect, just got to hold some lights together. All right, let's get the drill press out. I'll have to clamp that up here and then start drilling these fast as we can. Okay, I got my little Harbor Freight drill press here. My shop's torn apart, so the bench is out in the driveway here. So we're gonna use the little template we made. We're gonna mark the holes with a Sharpie, And then we'll drill these and then see if we can't get a bunch of them drilled all at once we get a template made. This isn't super critical, so I'm not going to center punch them. A little close to the edge, but it's only to hold these things together. All right, let's test fit it. Okay, we'll try to do 5 at a time. These lined up. Put the template on top. And a couple of screws here. Kind of fit through here. Just to keep them from sliding around while we drill. Should hold pretty good right there. Nope, that did not work. So it jumped over to the other hole. We'll drill the ones we can, and then those ones close to the other hole, we're gonna have to drill one by one, I guess. Probably should be clamping it just in case it catches, but this little drill press you can stop with your hand. So I'm really in no danger of it catching and cutting me. But you really should clamp them. All right, just gotta figure out that one other hole here where it jumped over and missed. You can see there's a hole. It's a little hot. There's a hole right there, so it jumped over and it didn't like that. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But 15 more to go and we're done. Okay, let's get these put together real quick. Go assembly line. Cut all the chains and all the parts, so hopefully everything will fit. All right, one down. So I don't know if you guys can see the difference. So this is the new ones. That's 6000K deluxe daylight bulb. And these are 40 watt T12 fluorescents. So the light is definitely whiter, bright. We'll see how much more light it actually puts out, but the wider spectrum should help me see what I'm doing a lot better. And then there's 10 of these in the roof. So there's 4 in the middle and 3 around each side. The roll-up door covers the other 2 over here. So I think it's going to work out. Plus the 8-footers, I'm going to change over to LED on each side. And then I have one right here. I'm going to switch that over too, I believe, just changing the bulbs out on that. So we'll see how it goes. We'll get these done and then check the lighting and see how it looks and then go from there. Okay, now time to move on to the compressor. Got to rewire it. I'm taking everything apart. Found the cable was getting very crunchy. It's been on here since I put the compressor or bought the compressor, so it's had a rough life. You can hear it. The insulation's falling off. The wire insulation inside is actually starting to fall apart too. It's going to expose bare wires, so it's time to get it replaced. So we're going to replace it with some armor cable, our flex cable, and pull new wires into it. So all we have to do is just pull it loose here, move it around a little bit, and we're going to wrap it around the back side of the compressor here and come up into the pressure switch. We're going to have to pop that off. We should be able to get that off. There we go. Then unwire it and then get the connections. You can see that wire's getting pretty dry and crunchy there. So better to replace it now than have a problem later, especially in the middle of a paint job or something where the compressor goes down and you're right in the middle of painting a car or doing some work you have to get done, and then you have to stop to fix your compressor. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this, get the wiring pulled off, and then get the new stuff pulled in. Power's off, already confirmed. Shut the breaker off. Go ahead and cap these leads anyways. Better be safe than sorry. This one right here is my extension cord for the welder so I can get it out farther. It's still okay. So all we have to do is pull this one off that is just falling apart on us. We'll get that out of there. You can see the wires are just, insulation's just falling off, so best to get it done right now. You can see this, it's done. The wires are actually showing now, so it's a good call to get rid of it. All right, let's finish this wiring off here. Wires all about the same length so they lay in the box good. This wire here is fine stranded, so you have to be a little more careful. Twist and pull. So they twist together there. Cut off the extra. And get the wiring nut on there. Alright. And always pull on it. Okay, we'll button that up later once I get that airline run through there. I'll put some black tape around here. The only reason I've been putting black tape around them is because the vibration from the compressor could translate through the wires, and I wouldn't want anything to vibrate loose by accident. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap some tape around there. Not for insulation, I'll just wrap it in the direction of tightening it so it can't back off. Okay, the next step is to move the line. You can see I have a ball valve coming straight out of the tank, straight through. It gives full line pressure to the lines that run throughout the shop, and then there's a regulator at the hose reel that I use to paint cars with. And then if I need to regulate it anywhere else, I put a regulator at the source, not here. So this runs whatever the pressure switch is set at, it pressurizes the system. So we're going to get this line removed. I use a flexible braided line. The vibration from the compressor shaking would break anything else eventually or cause it to leak. So we're going to get this loose, bust this open, and put a T on here to accommodate the other line that we're going to be putting in to run to the garage. So we're going to get this loose. Okay, so we'll dry fit all this to figure out how it's going to work best. Cabinet goes across here, so I don't have a lot of room to play with here to turn valves on and off. So I have to make sure that I set it in such a way that we can get a valve in here. This new valve has a shorter handle, but it looks like it's still going to stick too far out, so we're going to have to probably refigure this down or something like this. That'll probably work right there. We're going to have to rotate that up just a little bit more. Thread that in. Let me see if we're going to clear. Okay, we've got the valve in, we've got the street L, half-inch street L in. All we have to do is get the pipe to tube connector, hose connector on. Like I said, we'll test this for leaks before everything's put back together. That way we know that we're going to have to be trying to dig around in here, chasing down a leak later. It's kind of irritating when you're not using any air and your compressor keeps going on and off. Okay, we're going to double check some of these fittings. I can see a little dirt on here where this looks like this fitting's been leaking it again a little. That could be old from before, but I'm going to go ahead and just snug these both up, make sure they haven't come loose. This is just aluminum tubing, so the ferro nut may have come a little loose over the time. So we're just going to put a little bit of a turn on those, not get carried away. Just want to make sure they're good and tight, not leaking. And then we're going to check the air cleaner on this compressor, which is up here, and it's not a very impressive air cleaner. It's right up inside there, so we're going to go ahead and set up and pull that off and see what it looks like. So it doesn't look too bad. The filter on this is looks like a piece of jute, like goes underneath the carpet of a car, carpet. So, and it doesn't look too bad at all. So we're gonna take and blow it out once we get this running. You see in here, you can see as the time it did inhale some paint fumes, which isn't good for the compressor. I've since cleaned that up inside. This goes directly into the heads. This is a direct drive, like I mentioned before. The motor's right here. The crankcase for it and the pistons are right here. And it just direct drives straight in there. It's very efficient. This is rated at 13 CFM at 40 PSI and 10 CFM at 90 PSI, which is a lot of CFM And that's what you need when you're running DAs and stuff like that. So we're gonna get this cleaned up. Put it back on, blow this thing off a little bit, and then maybe do a little test drive on it and see if we have any leaks. Okay, we lost we're losing about 10 pounds an hour, or maybe a little bit less than that. So I soaped up all the connections. I even checked the check valve. There's a check valve here that the air comes in from the compressor from the pump, and it goes into the tank, and then it can't come back. This is the relief. When the switch shuts off, it blows off a little pressure, so the compressor, when it comes back on, it doesn't have to push against whatever pressure is built in the tank. And also it keeps it from having to draw a lot of amperage right on startup. So anyways, no leak here, no leaks here. All these are good, but we're still losing air, so it had to be down here. I don't know if you could see that, but we are bubbling. So this 1/4-inch ball valve is done. It's probably got some rust that went through it. When I closed it, it probably scarred it up. So it's leaking just enough to lose 8 or 10 pounds an hour. So I dug through my stuff, my junk, and I found another one. It's not brand new, slightly used, so we'll see if it works. We're going to release the air and then get it switched out. Hopefully that'll be the cause, and we can move on. Okay, we got the valve down there changed. Got tape back marked on it. We will check at this compressor. I've got it set to shut it off just under 120 psi. It's about 115, I think. Gauge is a little faded, so it's hard to read. Got the 1/4-inch ball valve changed out with a new used one, and I don't see any bubbles popping. So we're going to let it sit for a few hours and see if that fixed the problem, and then I'll know the tank won't be leaking down overnight or days when I'm not using it, and then I'll have to fill the tank completely back up every time I want to come out here and get some work done. So this is if this is it, then the cabinet's about ready to be put back together. I have to cut some boards to fit, get them painted, and then get them installed and get it sealed up. Okay, it's time to remake these panels for the compressor cabinet. The other ones obviously got a lot of water damage, so they need to be replaced. So I'm cheating, I'm just laying those right on the 1/2-inch MDF and tracing around them. There's some odd angles for the ceiling and the floor and where the conduit and air lines came out, so I just traced them up, and we're going to get after it with a saw real quick here. Test fit, and then once that's done, we'll get it primed, trim up, round off some of these corners so they're not sharp, and then be ready to put in. So what I'm using on the walls is dry lock. It's a basement masonry waterproofing sealer, and it is really thick. I mean, this stuff is like oatmeal. So it's not easy to paint with a brush, but I'm going to do what I can and then get some of this cut in. So it's pretty thick stuff. That's all stirred up. So we're going to start slopping this on the wall. It is just a concrete wall, block wall, so it doesn't really matter how good it looks, as long as it's nice and white and clean, and you get a fresh start for the shop. Okay, we're cutting all the way around. A little echoey in here with the door shut. I'm gonna get the ceiling rolled, and then we can finish this job up and get everything moved back in. Okay, so everything's done, everything's put away. A little bit of echo in here. The lighting's done, the steel is back up on its rack, the long steel, the bench is back in. Fix that up a little bit so the drawers work better. The compressor cabinet is done, insulated and working good. All the air leaks have been repaired. Toolbox is in. Paint storage cabinet is done. Hose reels are back up. Fire extinguishers on the wall. And the shelving is over here, holding miscellaneous steel on top. And then other stuff throughout the other shelves there. I got my floor jack, or my jack stands, and porta power, and some steel. And then over here, my other hose reel, and the rack I built a number of years ago. I usually have fenders on that or doors. TV's back in, rolling cabinets there, work cabinet, and then the racks or the stands. And then even got the banner up. So this took way longer than I had planned. I added more work to myself like usual. The lighting, I'm pretty happy with the lighting. The LED lights look good. They use a lot less electricity, and they're a lot brighter white. So it should help me a lot when I'm doing my work. I'm looking forward to that, that's for sure. So yeah, got everything done. And it's time to get to work. Okay, that about wraps up this video of refurbishing the shop. So we got all the lighting done, the walls look great, everything's organized, so I'm really happy the way it came out. I'm looking forward to getting some fun projects going. So thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint and Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I hope to see you again here soon.